All right. Are we live, Thomas?
Yep, we're live.
We got good audio?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. There's a little bit of a delay on my preview monitor, but it is technically the July episode of the QA, even though I know it's August. But I had a travel week. I had some delays. I had some plans, and I'm pretty pumped to be here live at Rainier Arms Firearms Academy in Wichita. So audio is looking good. Any thumbs up? Anybody commenting yet, Thomas?
Scott said good afternoon.
Scott, good to have you.
Rusty, from Texas.
All right, we got our first viewer from Texas. Well, excellent, guys. Thank you very much for joining. It is our live stream where at the end of the month, we answer your questions. Thomas is going to go ahead and throw the email address up on the screen. If you want to see your question on the show and you can't make the live stream, make sure you email us. That email address is shown below. That is theqa@gunsandtactics.com. You can see it right down there. And as always, at the end of the month, we are live. We answer those questions. I answer the email questions. We answer your live comments. We answer messages, all that other stuff, and we give away a prize. Thanks to our sponsor, Global Ordnance, which is awesome. And also thanks to Rainier Arms for having me. I work with these guys a lot. They're amazing people. Love them. Love the products. I'm super awesome to have a great relationship with Rainier and Guns and Tactics, all that. So we have a lot of really cool stuff at this facility here, and I'm honored to be here. So maybe somebody will stop by and have a seat on the couch and ask a question even live. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are for that. But here's the other cool thing, dudes. One of my favorite things about Wichita is they have a Krispy Kreme here. And as you guys know, I love donuts. So one of my favorite things when I come to Wichita is I get Krispy Kremes delivered to me. That was one of my demands if they're going to do a live show. So, I'm telling you. We used to have Krispy Kreme in Minnesota, and I don't know what happened to them. But the fact that, not sponsored, they're here, I always make sure to stop by. I know, rude to eat. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get to it. What's our first comment question, Thomas? Thomas is helping me out behind the camera.
We got Jason here. Best company to have a Glock 19 slide mill to add a Holosun SCS red mill.
All right, best slide milling for a Glock 19 Holosun SCS. That's right?
Yes.
All right. Danger Close does amazing work. Love those guys. I don't know how their backlog is. Obviously, Rainier. If you send it to Rainier, they can get it done too for you. Again, I'll have to double check service times. But Danger Close, Vulcan Machine, DSC Gunworks, Dave Simic, I think is how it's pronounced. Those are the people that I generally send my stuff to for machining. Like I have a DWX at DSC Gunworks right now for slide milling. That's, again, Dave Simic. It's DSC Gunworks, I'm pretty sure is what it's called. You can Google for that. I can't have direct links and stuff, but Danger Close, Vulcan Machine, all good to go. I'll take really good care of you. So that's definitely who I would go for. And you can kind of check to see what pricing and timeline and all that other stuff is too. But
Super chat.
we got a super chat for how much?
$10.
From who?
From Duabs.
Oh, from Duabs.
Next donuts are on me, he says.
Well, all right. Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate that. Dustin is a regular. I do appreciate the super chat. You can go ahead. I don't know if you can throw that on the screen or. Sweet. Thanks, man. So my delay is a little bit delayed. We were kind of hoping that when he put the question, I could read it, but there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. But yeah.
Question from David.
Next question is from David. What do we got?
New RMR closed emitter.
Ooh, the RCR, the RMR, but closed emitter. So for those of you guys that don't know, I did publish my video on the RMR HD, which I know is not what you're asking about, but I do got to give a plug for the video. The RMR HD was the updated RMR that we've all been waiting for, and I have been very vocal, and I've even told Trijicon this, that the Trijicon RMRs have become stale. And I've known about the RCR and the RMR HD for a while. I couldn't talk about it. You know, those of you guys that know, that follow, if you're new here, very, very much welcome to you. But I do a lot of red dot training around the country for LE contract and agencies and all that. And Trijicon did tell me that they were working on some stuff a while ago, right? A lot of people called it the Type 3. Well, what they didn't know was that there was going to be two, and they are the RMR HD and the RCR. The RMR HD is everything that I wanted for in an RMR. I was kind of hoping that they were able to maybe not have that overhang, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, the RCR, the version that I got eyes on like a few months ago, was not as refined as what the final production version is now. And the concern that I had then and the concern that I have now is I'm just really interested. I think they're calling them capstan screws is what they're calling. I don't have the detail sheet in front of me, But basically what they do is they're having these screws, a socket head cap screw with those little holes, for those of you guys that haven't seen it, and then you kind of use your hex wrench as almost a spanner wrench to tighten these screws down, and there's a little torque card. I'm really curious how that system is going to hold up. Now, I have mad respect for Trijicon because they were able to make an enclosed emitter optic in the RMR footprint. And there's a ton of RMR footprint cut slides, cut adapter plates, you know, whatever. So I would argue that the RMR is still one of the most popular pistol optics. And now that all of those people who own that firearm can utilize an enclosed emitter with that footprint, I think is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. And let's be honest, RMR was the gold standard in pistol optics for a long time. From what I've been told, the RCR is going through all of the rigors of drop testing that Trijicon does. Drop testing, shock testing, impact, weather resistance, all that stuff. I think the RCR is gonna be pretty cool, but they're also not cheap at a street price of about 650 bucks. So that's kind of the give and take. And you have already proven quality optics on the market. Like you have the Holosun 509, which is one of my favorite closed emitter optics. Now you have the EPS, and there might be some other stuff from Holosun in the works that I can't talk about. But Holosun is always evolving and doing really cool stuff too. So I think there's going to be some really cool options. For example, one of my favorite new enclosed emitter optics as well is the SCS 320 from Holosun. That's an enclosed optic, and it uses the Delta Point Pro footprint because they're able to figure out the battery mounting and all that other stuff. So a lot of cool stuff in the works, a lot of cool stuff coming out. It's a good time to be a shooter and a buyer because we have options, and ultimately that's the best part. The other video that I will be having live coming soon, I know it's an Acro footprint, is going to be the Adaball E2, and that has a street price of under $300. It's an Acro footprint optic, has a top-mounted battery. The clicks and turrets feel really good. That video will be coming live this afternoon. I'll publish it probably this afternoon after the live stream and stuff, but check that out. And that's a budget option because sometimes I just review high-end stuff and other people are like, hey man, my budget, I can't afford it. So I like to have good, better, best, and I like to look for good quality. And that Adaball, I have several hundred rounds through it, and it's been holding up just fine, and it looks really good. So sorry to go on the rant. Thank you, Thomas. What else we got?
We got Rusty Taylor. He says, thoughts on the Voodoo 1-8?
The EOTech Voodoo 1-8. I like EOTech optics. I didn't at first. It wasn't that I disliked them. It's just I'm always a little skeptical of the new kid on the block, right? And when EOTech is trying to come out with an optic, me too. But I did a review on their 1-10 not that long ago. It's probably a few months ago now. And that was a really nice optic. The reticle wasn't quite perfect. The ghost ring, the big ring, was a little too big for my taste, or whatever. But EOTech's making some nice optics. They've tracked well. Their optic quality is good. They're made in Japan. If you can find the reticle that you like and the price is there, all the other features are there, I really don't think you'd regret it. I think it's a good optic. And there's a lot of good 1-8s on the market, but the EOTech is a solid option. The only thing I wish, obviously, is that the illumination was a little brighter for daylight bright, but that's just how it goes. I don't know if you're in a hurry, but at SHOT Show, there will be some cool stuff coming out too that I can't talk about, but cool stuff. Probably a little bit more expensive though. What else we got, man?
Jason Fazio says, thinking about buying an SCS, but you're hinting at something new from them. Has me hesitating. Can you provide any ideas of what they are creating, and if you should hold off on SCS?
And this was for the Glock. Is that what he said? Can you leave a comment what platform it's going to be for? If it's going to be for the Glock or something else. And hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I don't know if you can hear the sounds of freedom in the background because we are at a range, right? And maybe, I don't know if we can't really go on a tour on the live stream because people can't be handling stuff. But that's part of like the community standards. But if it's for an SCS for a Glock and you just want that direct mount with the MOS pocket, good to go, man. Good to go. I would buy it right now, and you're not going to regret it. In fact, I need to publish my SCS video for the Glock. I have that. Yeah, Glock, you're good to go. Good to go. If you wanted to, if you already have an MOS, my favorite Holosun optic out right now is the EPS. I really like the EPS line, the EPS carry line. So on my personal Glock 19, I have an EPS. On my Glock 43X, I have an EPS carry. And if you have a MOS and you are okay with like a 507K plate, I would just do the EPS. That's me personally. But if you like that no fuss, no muss, don't have to worry about battery, I just get a little solar charge. The SCS has been holding up good. And the new SCS So the very first one that I had was kind of a pre-production, and it didn't have that override mode that they have now. When they added that, game changer for the SCS, because that was always my complaint, is that it wasn't quite bright enough in certain situations. Well, now you tap that button once and it blooms really bright, so it has like an override mode on the SCS. Love it. It sits nice and low. You can use standard height sights. You don't need suppressor height sights. It's actually a really cool optic. If you want to get something right now, just get the SCS. You're not going to regret it. It's a good optic. It's durable. It's held up really well for me. Tracks well. I wouldn't hesitate to buy it. There's always going to be new stuff coming, man. Always going to be new stuff. Just like a phone. Like the second you buy a phone, there's a new one coming out. So, and
Next up, we got Robbie Smith. He says, "Are we going to be able to shoot deer in Minnesota with AR pistol as long as no brace? My local CO can't even give me an answer."
yeah, if it's a legal pistol, you can still shoot it as long as it's of the caliber that meets Minnesota. Minnesota has the caliber requirement or whatever for pistols, and if it's a pistol, it's a pistol, man. You're good to go. Good to go. As far as a brace, I don't know, brace schmace. When we have a lull, we should probably throw up some email questions as well, and thank some of the email supporters too.
First one here.
All right, we're throwing up an email question.
Have you also experienced problems with Daniel Defense free flow handguards coming loose, losing zero, and just being defectively lined up?
No. And these are from Kevin. Got to give a shout out to Kevin. He's our #1 Patreon supporter, which, by the way, if you guys want to support the channel, we would appreciate it. We're trying to grow the Patreon page. Kevin, I only have owned one Daniel Defense, and it was, I think it had the original RAS rail or RIS rail, but I haven't really experienced it. I know there's a lot of screws on some of their stuff, but overall, Daniel Defense, in my experience, has made a really good product. I've seen a number of them come through in classes and students and things like that, and I haven't had any issues. Obviously, anybody can put out a lemon, but overall, I haven't seen anything. Next question from Kevin.
Are there any good ways to get people to just stop and take the guns to professionals when they break out
Oh.
screws and firearms, especially for red dot sights on pistols?
Oh, Eureka. I wish. I wish. And I don't know, in between, if you want to hop back to the camera, I'm not sure if that's easy for you or if I made it. I don't see. I feel bad because usually I run it, and now I have Thomas running it, so I can't remember how I laid it out, and I kind of threw him like baptism by fire. So, shout out to Thomas for helping out. Is there a way for people to like come to a professional? I wish, because I've had it where people have stripped out a screw, and they try and they try and they try and they make it worse and worse and worse. I wish. Now, here's what I would always encourage anybody, is that if it's beyond your skill level, if it's beyond your ability, please take it to a gunsmith. Please take it to a machinist, something like that right away before it gets worse, because the more material that you remove from that screw or strip that screw or make it worse, it's going to be more expensive and make it more difficult for the next person to have to fix. So please, please, please take it to a professional right away. Can't stress that enough. What do we got? Next question.
Is there a way to show a video about the proper way to remove the taper pins on the front sight bases on AR?
First off, does anybody really have a front sight base on ARs anymore? 2004 called, they want their front sight bases back. But yes, we can certainly do that. The best tool that I have found for that is the Brownells. It's an orange block, and it has basically a Delrin block, and it has the front sight base, and it has in and an out, and it supports it really nice. A stout hammer and a good quality cup tip punch. Obviously, as you know, I know, Kevin, you're pretty savvy on this, but for those that don't know, the taper pin actually is a cone-shaped pin, but at the edge of it, it actually has is it concave? Is that the technical term? Curved surface. And you can use a nail set, like a Starrett nail set, or a cup tip punch, which kind of has that, so it matches that because it's not flat. Most pins are flat, and you have a standard pin punch. But yes, I can try to add a little video to that. That'd be a good idea. What else we got?
There's a random question from Philip Lynn.
Oh, that's a different Philip, I think.
For a zombie apocalypse, what 3 guns are you taking and how much ammo?
Oh, this is from the Phil. Okay, all right. Zombie apocalypse, and I can take how many guns? 3. All right, and I can only take 3. So here's the thing. I feel like the natural question that everyone would say in the zombie apocalypse is you'd have to pick a handgun, a rifle, and a shotgun, right? I feel like that's like the bait question. Handgun and rifle, no problem. Like we'll talk about those in a second. The shotgun, I'm a little torn on. And here's what I'm considering. So maybe we'll work through this together, kind of a choose our own adventure. We'll see what you guys would comment as well. But do I take a shotgun or do I take a precision rifle? And here's my thought. The shotgun, there will be ammo, there'll be hunting ammo, there'll be whatever, close quarters. The shotgun would be great for the zombie apocalypse, all that good stuff, right? But the long range might give me an advantage because it's not just the zombies I'd be worried about, if you know what I mean. Like, have you seen The Walking Dead? Some of the most evil things are not the zombies, it's the other people, right? Like, just saying. And maybe that distance would be something that I would be interested in. I don't know. So that would be my only three thing. So I'm a little, the third one, I'm a little torn on that. But anyways, for the rifle, an AR. Like, AR mags are going to be plentiful. There'll be ammo, a good quality AR with a LPVO. And as far as a pistola, I would lean towards either a Glock or a Staccato. Glock, there's going to be parts, there's going to be magazines, there's going to be 9mm ammo, whatever. But I love my Staccatos, my 2011s. I just love them, and I feel like if I'm limited, if I had to pick one, I would probably still pick a 2011 of some type. So that's my question. I'm looking forward to hearing the comments of what some of our commenters would pick in a zombie apocalypse. You know, the other one that might not be a bad one to consider is a 22. Like, ammo is light. You can carry a lot of ammo without a lot of weight. You can still be reasonably effective. And if we're just talking about walkers, I think the 22 would be effective. I mean, their skull and their brain is already deteriorating. And depending on how far along in the apocalypse we are, the 22 could still be effective. I mean, Coral was using like knives and stuff, you know, to take down walkers. So I don't know. But here's the thing. I really hope a zombie apocalypse doesn't happen, because I've been to like some abandoned houses and stuff where things have been unkept for only like a month, and the nasty smells and rot and everything else. And can you imagine if society was in this decay of a zombie apocalypse? Like, I'm kind of over it. No thanks. Like, you know, I like to do the what ifs. All right, what else we got, Thomas? I like talking zombies, though. It's kind of fun. Back to Kevin.
Are there any cases where police officers really needed sharp edges and teeth on the AR flash hider in real life? Or are those sharp flash hiders just another way to tear apart upholstery, gun cases, and clothes?
You know, I don't think so. I haven't heard of any real world use. I know in some cases there have been situations where some of those devices are like for rebar cutting and all that other stuff, or as a offset device. And actually, ironically, our sponsor just emailed. Global Ordnance was actually just calling. So yeah, it's all good. Let me just text her quick and let her know that we are live, and I want to make sure we're not ignoring her. Anyways, I don't think there's any real world use for it for a modern domestic LE to have anything like that. So that's just my opinion. I can't think of any other scenario. What else we got from Kevin?
What are some good leadership techniques that help set up a good, positive example for firearms work, whether it is teaching, legal testimony, or just being a quality person at the shooting range?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. As far as that, I feel like, and some agencies do a better job at this than others. In my opinion, anybody that's going to be taking on a firearms instructor role, a training role, or whatever, there is a leadership component associated with that. And obviously, I wish every agency or organization would pick based on good character, on leadership qualities, on experience, you know, all of those things that really kind of lead into it. But the reality is, in some places, it's a good old boys club still, and it's who you know, not necessarily what you know or what you're capable of or what your character is. I think the best part is that for the people that are doing a good job is they need to mentor the next generation, and trying to work with that and build people. And like when I've tried to mentor some of the other people that I've worked with as far as like what I look for in instructing or what I do, or even like the instructor classes that I teach now, I really try to build in communication, because so much of it is not just your knowledge. Like, you can have the most knowledgeable dudes in the world, but if they're jerks, if they're really rude and they don't communicate well and they don't develop rapport, people are kind of switched off and disengaged right away. So, man, I could probably make a whole podcast just about that topic. Like, don't get me started on that. But I don't know how many people would listen. It's not flashy. Like right now, everybody wants like, you know, Gucci gear and ninja moves and, you know, all this other stuff. But the reality is I feel like there's a lot of that. And honestly, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. And Dustin, if you're still watching, you can relate. Even in training, like the open enrollment classes or citizen classes or whatever, because not everything I teach is LE anymore. But so many people show up to a class and they're like, I want to do the advanced stuff. I want to do like, room clearing CQB, and I want to do like whiz bang this and blah, 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 blah. And I start every one of my classes with an assessment. So I'm going to let a cat out of the bag. If you ever come take a class with me and we do a warm up, it's not really a warm up. I mean, it is, but the reality is I'm kind of assessing everybody. I'm looking at how they stand. I'm looking at how they draw. I'm looking at how their gear is set up. I'm looking at how they present. I'm looking at their target eventually. But I'm kind of assessing to see where this class is at. And the reality is so many people would be better served by really solidifying those fundamentals and then going to some of those other classes. And don't get me wrong, training is good. And I love it when people have skills and they want to learn how to clear a room or, stand safely behind cover or, draw quickly from close retention and all this stuff. All very valuable. But at the same time, I was teaching a moving class at one club, and when we got to the assessment, like we were struggling to hit past 10 yards, and now we're going to try to add movement into that. It's just, at what point does it become training versus ballistic masturbation? And I chuckle a little bit, but the reality is like we need to be effective with what we're doing and not just like throwing rounds down range because it's fun and cool. Like I still look at value per round in the training environment. So now I don't even know who's calling. Arlington, Virginia. Oh, it's probably the ATF or something. This could be awkward. I'm going to send them to voicemail. If you're watching ATF, I love you. Respect. Okay, I can't keep a straight face. All right, what do we got next?
Tangent Arms said earlier.
Tangent Arms, I think it is. It's Tangent.
It's been documented in many movies that 22 is effective on walkers.
There we go. Done. Any movies. Yep, we're good.
And then
Coral.
Jason Fisher says, do you have any updates on the Washington State semi-auto ban?
So there is an injunctions that are being filed. Obviously, when I work with Rainier, we monitor the Washington situation. We're waiting. There's a lot of really good organizations that are trying to fight, that horrific piece of legislation. And even right now, there's a little bit of debate over like certain parts and things like that I know some lawyers are reviewing because I believe the legislators' intent was to shut down the sales of guns, of parts, and things like that. And the parts that are up for interpretation of that law is, can you still sell parts or can you just stop selling the receivers? And I think that's going to ultimately be debated if there's a charge where it's going to have to go to case law or it's going to be litigated, with the injunction. So it's still active right as of now, as of, August 23 when we're talking about this. But I know there are a lot of organizations, Rainier included, that is supporting it financially and with effort to try to fight that horrible piece of legislation that, let's be honest, is it really keeping anybody safer? Come on. I mean, whatever. Don't get me started on that. Like that might be a few Malibu in type podcast, and then I don't know how that would go well. Oh, they left me a voicemail. I'm curious. My luck, it would be like the ATF, and they would be like that. And obviously, it is what it is. But I don't have my transcription on, so anyways, it's probably about my car warranty, Google listing. Who knows? We got anything else, Thomas? What do we got for comments?
Jason Fazio says, thoughts on concealed carry insurance in certain companies?
Oh, good question. So this topic has come up before, concealed carry insurance, and I will be upfront. I don't have it, and it's not because I'm opposed, but it's because I am not informed enough to decide which company. Like there's what is it? U.S. Law Shield. There's something concealed carry. Do you know the names of them?
Yeah, U.S. Law Shield we work with a little bit, and they provide us like a coupon code.
Oh, well,
sure we can find one of those.
Maybe we'll look at a coupon code, and I'll do some research with U.S. Law Shield. Do we have any coupons for U.S. Law Shield? I don't know if we do. We do. We do.
Where is it?
Where is it? So let's give U.S. Law Shield a promo, and I'll see if I can do some more research. But so here's what, for those of you guys that don't know, the insurance would basically help you with legal expenses. Because here's the thing. Anytime you use your firearm defensively, even if it's like a righteous 100% good to go deal. Thanks, man.
We have an affiliate link.
We have an affiliate link. All right.
Like if you type in Rafa.
Type in Rafa with U.S. Law Shield, RAFA. They will help hopefully with those legal expenses. Now, ideally, if you had to use a firearm to save your life or a loved one, the investigation, hopefully at the scene, would determine like, hey, you're the good guy. We're not going to arrest you. You're probably going to go downtown and have to give a statement, and your firearm will be seized as evidence for the investigation. But best case scenario is you don't spend the night in jail. Okay, best case. There will still be an investigation, and there will likely still be lawsuits. The criminal side, the civil side are two different sides. Worst case scenario is ultimately you're convicted of a crime, you go to jail, okay? But right in the middle, like you might be arrested. And there have been people who have been arrested because on the surface, we don't know if this is justified or not. And every state has a little bit different laws, right? So the U.S. Law Shield is going to help you with your legal defense for criminal issues as well as the civil, and that's what you're paying for with that insurance. And I think it might not be a bad idea. Now, you have to ask yourself, probable versus possible, can you afford the insurance, all that other stuff, because ultimately insurance is one of those things that you'll probably never likely use, but when you need it, man, it sure is nice to have, and it sure sucks not to have when you do need it. So that's another thing. Maybe what I'll try to do is have another guest live, like we had with Holosun. I don't know if Josh is watching. Josh is a big fan. I'm a big fan of his with Holosun, which, by the way, if you're in Wichita, Midwest Peeps, tomorrow at Rainier, Dave from Guns and Tactics is going to be here. Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm in the wrong mode. I'm going to be here. And we're having a Shadow Systems Holosun event. We're giving away some really cool stuff. I can't say what it is, but it's really cool. You'll like it. You're going to want to be here at this amazing facility. We'll have demos. Reps will be here. It's going to be awesome. We'll have some deep deals. My nickname tomorrow is going to be Deep Dealin' Dave because I'm going to be making some deals for you. Like that guy right over there, make some deep deals for you if you come back tomorrow on Holosun and Shadow Systems. Deep deals. Deep deals. I like to have fun with people. So, all right. Yeah, good question. What else we got? I feel like I've talked about that a lot.
Right here. Any experience with the Rainier 6-ARC?
Rainier, I'm sorry, what?
6-ARC, the ammo.
I have not. I want to get a 6-ARC. I can't believe it has taken me this long to get a 6-ARC. I know we have our 6-ARC barrels, so I'm probably going to snag a barrel and some ammo, and I can maybe have some more info. I need to build a 6-ARC. The round really, really intrigues me. It looks really cool. I need to build a couple 6-ARCs maybe.
Trevor Tobin right here says, Ninja running and gunning is best.
It is. Trevor, good to see you, my man. I miss you. Trevor is a good friend of mine from Minnesota, so I always love it when my friends check in. It makes me feel special and warm inside. Anyways, Trevor, and I don't know if number 7 is watching either. I sent number 7 the link. But Trevor, good to see you, and Ninja is the way to go. I agree. In multicam. You need Velcro, multicam, and what was the other Louis Auerbach joke? I can't remember what it was. Oh, Molly, Velcro, and multicam, and if you have that, you're all set. That's all you need. You look the part, right?
You got D-Girl right here saying, going to the gun out range day tomorrow. Looking forward to shooting all the John Wick guns, Monsoon tactical pistols, and some of the other vendor guns.
Nice. Hey, if you want to do me a favor, I've sent an email to Guns Out TV, and I would love to have them come to TriggerCon. So I would love to invite those guys. I've sent them an email. I haven't heard back, so if you mention it, mention TriggerCon, which, by the way, I'm not sure where you guys are located, but let's get ready and let's talk about TriggerCon. TriggerCon is coming up September 22nd through the 24th. There is a link on the screen. I'll have a code in the video description after we go live and this is published. There'll be link, all that other stuff. Wichita, Kansas. Rainier obviously is going to be, a lot of things from Rainier are going to be there, but TriggerCon is an amazing event that, man, we have worked so hard. The exhibitor lineup is absolutely amazing. There's going to be probably over 100 by the time we get the final bill of all the manufacturers that you know and love, right? Everything, big names that you're going to be there, SIG, Staccato, CZ, Daniel Defense, Walther, who am I missing? Kimber, EAA, like those are just some of the gun ones I can remember. Holosun, working with Zeiss, what was it? HK, yeah. So, and like all the cool accessory companies are coming. Like it is going to be awesome. And here's my favorite part, truth, like no BS. My favorite thing with TriggerCon is that a lot of companies show off their newest stuff, but it's a big enough show to make it worth it where you get to see all these cool people, but it's a small enough show where you get to see everything and you actually get time to meet with people. And here's the cool part with TriggerCon is that a lot of times these companies will send like legit stakeholders in the companies. Like in the past, we've had director level, C-level people, owners, founders, and they are there because it's also a business-to-business show, which means they're talking and they're making their deals. But the cool part is that those stakeholders are there. Also have a VIP party where there'll be a lot of media and people. We'll have the Golden Trigger Awards. You get to meet with people. There's a lot of cool media personalities that we'll be adding to the website shortly. Big names that you're going to know and love. and it's just going to be an awesome event. So if you are worth making the trip to Wichita, you can get your tickets for TriggerCon. Again, link and code and all that stuff will be in the description, but TriggerCon is an event worth attending. It's a see it, then shoot it event, 2 days at the 2 days at the arena, then we transition to the range, so then you can try all the cool stuff that you got to see at the show. It's going to be an awesome show. I really, really hope you can come. It'll be worth your time. That's TriggerCon. You can check out the link, come to the show. It's awesome. Wichita, Kansas, which is actually a really cool town. There's a lot of cool places to do, see, eat, all sorts of stuff. And plus, we get to hang out. What else we got?
Almighty Catamus said, hey.
Hey! Almighty who?
Catamus.
Catamus, all right. What do we got for email questions? What do we got? We took care of Kevin's. What else we got?
Philip. Hello, sir. I came across your YouTube channel and I was wondering if you know of any mounting options for SIG Romeo 1 Pro on Staccato P. I read Loophole DPP has some footprint, but can't confirm anywhere if it works for SIG Romeo 1 Pro. Your help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you in advance, respectfully.
Thank you in advance. I appreciate you reaching out. The Pro footprint should be the same as the Delta Point Pro. That's what the Pro means. I will be upfront with you, my man. If you already have the optic, I'm not trying to poo-poo on it, but the best SIG optic was the Romeo 9. Is that the one I did the review on? Remember, Thomas, the enclosed open one, the modifiable one? I think it's the 9.
I don't remember.
Some of the early SIG optics I'm not as much of a fan of because they use socket head cap screws instead of taper screws, and I've seen those screws loosen up a lot. So some of the more recent SIG optics have been great, like the new X series that they came out with, the 9 that I have actually has been their best to date in my opinion. I would really look towards that. Or if you're looking for a Delta Point Pro footprint, obviously we have the, even though I know it's called the 320 SCS from Holosun, but that's a Delta Point Pro footprint. I have one of those on my Staccato C2 that I used a flex plate for, so it has the rear sight. Otherwise, we obviously have the Delta Point, which is a great optic on its own. And there will be some other stuff that's coming out probably next year that will be Delta Point Pro footprint. And here's the thing I'll tell you guys. Acro footprint, RMR footprint, and with the R507K RMSC type footprint for the Holosun, that'll be popular. But Delta Point Pro footprint will be popular. There's a reason why the new SIG optics are coming out with that footprint, and that's because the mil contract, SIG slides, Delta Point Pro footprint, military contracts, the private sector will follow, so you are going to see more. And I think those few will be kind of the standard footprints that we will see just kind of adopted industry-wide. So that's my prediction, but I feel pretty confident with that. What else we got?
We got Scott Hughes in the comments.
Scott Hughes in the comments. Welcome back, regular viewer Scott. Thank you.
Have you noticed that Federal has discontinued the 9mm HST 147 grain plus P? That loading was the best performing load from an 8-inch to 9-inch 9mm carbine. With millions of those guns around, why would they discontinue?
I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't know they discontinued the plus P. I actually run 147 HST. I don't. My agency, we didn't do the plus P, and I use just the 147 HST in pretty much everything. Right? I love it. I love that round. It's been good. I've seen it go through vehicles and barriers and the ballistic gel tests and all that stuff. And there's several agencies now that have had OISs with it that have real world data. I don't know why they would discontinue that. I would be curious. I can reach out to my federal rep, and actually he would be another really good guest to have as a live stream. That guy is like literally, I did some old videos with him, with Johan, but he is literally the definition. If you look up ballistic expert in the dictionary, there should be a picture of him. Not only is he a been there, done that dude, but now that he works for Federal and ATK, he works with he's their lead LE military ammunition guy. He would be a great guest. I could probably line that up and we could talk to see. And he would be the guy to tell you, like realistically, the difference between 147 HST and plus P is this much performance. You're gaining this, but you're not losing that. That would be the best one. So I don't want to speak out of my lane on why they would discontinue it. I'm guessing it maybe came down to just a market demand and is the juice worth the squeeze? But he would be the guy that I know would give me a square answer, and he'd be a great guest. As if you want to learn about ballistics, he'd be the guy to do it. So I should really try to work on that. Great question. Great question. We still got some stuff feeding in?
Yeah, Dustin Carbacher said, looking cool is 99% of the game.
That's right. That's why I like you, Dustin, because you look cool. And that is 99% of the game. Totally true. That's why I do feel bad. Like sometimes when you guys see it, like a video where I haven't shaved, I try to grow like an operator beard because I want to try to look cool, you know. And I feel like the operator beard would really give me more internet instant credibility. But then my wife is like, "You go scruffy," and then it starts to itch, and I just hate it. So then I end up shaving my face, and operator beard is gone. But when you guys see that, I'm trying to have operator beard, but I'm not for operators who operate operationally. That's also been my motto. Like I even had a patch made. Which, speaking of which, if you come to TriggerCon, I'm going to hopefully have some limited edition patches. Come see me. I'm only going to get a few printed. I'll hand them out, but when they're gone, they're gone. So it's going to be awesome. All right, who else would you give a shout out to? You know who do? It's Global. Let me know when you're ready. We'll have our logo. Is the logo?
The logo like disappeared.
Oh, anyways, let's give a shout out to Global Ordnance. I love the guys and gals at Global Ordnance. They import and export billions of rounds. They carry all the brands that you know and love at good prices. Plus, if you use my code that will be in the description, which is GT Ammo, you're going to get free shipping on all orders over 200, including cases. If you order heavy cases of ammo, you know that shipping can be really expensive. Like some of the online dealers will sucker you in with a good price, only to find out that it's $50 or $60 shipping per case. Well, with my code at Global, free shipping, as much as you want, free shipping. And they have all these cool brands. And their Sterling line of steel-cased ammo is very attractively priced, and it's been running great, and it looks like polished duty-grade ammo. I've been really happy. I never thought I would be a guy to say, I'm shooting steel-cased ammo. Like, I've always kind of, you know, had my thumb up or nose up at it, but this Sterling steel-cased is working great. I shoot it in my DWX, my staccatos, whatever, especially areas where I know I can't recover my brass for recycling or whatever. I don't reload, but it's awesome. Global Ordnance, huge supporters of the channel. They are going to offer the prize for the viewer. And by the way, Art, you won last month. You better get your rear and gear if you want to claim your prize. I need your address. But Global Ordnance, awesome stuff. Check them out. They have sales. They have all sorts of stuff in stock. They import cool stuff. All the weird calibers that you might be looking for, they probably have. The mainstays, they have it as well. Name brands you know and love, plus their import stuff. Bellum, Ingham, Sterling. It's awesome stuff. I've been very, very happy. So I couldn't do it without them. They support the channel. They provide my ammo for the videos and stuff, which is a huge help for me, and I love their stuff. I highly encourage you to check them out. Global Ordnance, use my code GTAMMO, free shipping. They'll take good care of you. Customer service is awesome. Good people. Like I said, my coordinator called earlier. I got to call her back. She's awesome as well. So I always love hanging out with them. Global Ordnance. What else we got, sir? Email question. Oh, you did it. It looks good, Thomas. You got the logo. It looks great.
Mitchell D.
Mitchell D.
While removing an Aero Precision enhanced handguard and one of the screws stripped out,
Ooh.
you left the link. What's your advice on how to protect and preserve the handguard and upper receiver? Sacrificing a $40 barrel nut is acceptable.
Yep.
If the upper and handguard can be recovered undamaged.
Yeah.
You have access to a drill press if necessary.
Yeah. So the general rule with gunsmithing and armoring are, believe it or not, different things, even though there's some debate. But one of my first early mentor gunsmiths always said, the general rule is if you have to damage something or sacrifice something, you always damage the least expensive part. And if it's not the least expensive, then the most easily replaceable part. So for example, if you were working on an antique gun and you had to damage one thing, what's the cheapest thing to damage and replace? However, if it's the cheapest but it's not available, then you have to kind of go with that availability slide. So if you're okay with sacrificing that, then yeah, you might have to drill out that screw or go from there. But depending on what head that screw is and how bad it is, you might be able to use a Torx or a screw removal tool or a left-handed drill bit. So if you can get in there and do all of those things, keep in mind penetrating oil and heat might be your friend to help loosen that torque bond. And then if you can get in there and just start to get that screw moving, then you might be better off. But yeah, if you have to sacrifice the barrel nut, if that's the cheapest part, that's what I would do. That's totally what I would do. But I generally have had pretty good luck. I know some welders and machinists are really good, where what they will do is they get a stripped screw and they'll actually weld in a stud, and then they can machine that stud for a flat, or they can machine that stud so they can engage it with a wrench or something, and they can do some amazing work. I'm not a great welder, so I would never attempt that. But I know that in the automotive industry, that's a common practice for some of the bigger hardware. Now, some of the firearms hardware, it's obviously much harder to weld onto a number 6 screw or 8 screw or something like that. But those are some of the things I would do. Sacrifice the cheapest part, easily replaceable part, and live and learn, right? You know, live and learn. Proper torque, good quality tools, make sure that tool is engaged with the fastener, and you'll be good to go. So, good question.
Jay Rooney and Ghost in here, they said, did you get your platypus? I think they mean black.
No, platypus. Like, they typed platypus, right?
Yeah, but then Ghost also said, have you gotten your plaque?
Okay, Ghost, no, I have not gotten my plaque yet, which I'm not going to lie. That, for whatever reason, that is a little sentimental and symbolic to me. Like, literally, it's a symbol of your achievement, right? Which is why a plaque. But no, I have not gotten it. I've emailed my YouTube rep. He's out on leave right now. I'm hoping I get it. I've debated about ordering a counterfeit off eBay just to have something, you know, because it'll be on the wall. You guys would never know. Like, I let my hair down with the live QA, but it means something to me because when I left my career, I was at like 70,000, and I was just like, you know what? I want to really do this, and this was a goal. I want to grow the channel. I really want to hit that 100K, and that plaque just means that to me. It's a little symbolic. I'm not gonna lie. It's a milestone. So I really do want that dang plaque. And then once I do that, I was going to do the behind-the-scenes video, the shop tour, and maybe we'll just do it anyway, but I really do want that dang plaque. Now, the platypus is the 1911 from Stealth Arms that takes Glock mags. And I have it on order, but I don't have an ETA yet. But
Is it really called the platypus?
it's really called the platypus, and it's awesome. We're going to carry them. Like, they're really cool. So I got to check them out at NRA, and they start at like 14 to 17-ish is the price. And I gotta say, like, handling them, slide to frame fit, barrel lockup, disconnector drag, all that stuff, it really felt like it kind of packed above its punch, or it punched above its price. You know, like they really felt like a good gun. I can't wait to get it. My my new friend, the Humble Marksman, he did this video on his. If you wanted to do more homework, but he's you know, he's had good things to say. So I really am excited, and I think a 1911, a single action trigger that does take those you know, cheap and reliable Glock mags, it's going to be awesome. Now, in the shorts that I've done on the platypus, people are always commenting like, why? This is 1911. Why would you want it to take Glock mags? Dudes, are you serious? Let me ask you this. A gun that's reliable and takes magazines that are cheap, available, and reliable. Like, why wouldn't we want cheap, reliable, available magazines? Doesn't make sense to me. Next question, Thomas.
Tangen Arms.
Tangen Arms.
What is your opinion on the binary trigger systems, and do you think they are on their way out?
Yeah.
In my opinion, nothing more than a range shoulder.
I know, man. I've played with a binary trigger, and I can't remember what brand it was, but the overall trigger feeling, like, for me, it was kind of a trick, right? Everybody wanted to try it. And a binary trigger, for those of you guys that don't know, is when you pull the trigger, it goes bang. When you release the trigger, it goes bang. But like, for me, when I was in like single mode, like, the trigger was just gross. Like, it was heavy, it was not crisp, it was mushy, it was just disgusting. And then for me, I could overrun it. Like, if I was not resetting it hard, it would, you know, cause some stoppages or whatever. So I don't know. I agree, man. I don't think it's something that's needed. I don't think it's something that's as popular. I've also played around a little bit with the forced reset triggers, but again, you know, some of those, like, I could get the gun to stop. Like, if you really, you know, don't ride the trigger just right, I could get that carrier to hang up. And for me, if it affects reliability and performance or whatever, it's a no-go. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I'd be willing to try other ones to see, but it's just not my thing. No, if it's your thing, that's cool. It's America. You can do what you want. But that's just kind of my opinion, especially for the price for some of them. Like, some of them are like $400 or $500, and I'd rather put that money towards ammo, training, optics, whatever. So that's just my opinion.
Jason Barefoot in the comments.
Jason in the comments. Thanks for commenting, Jason.
Just got my stamps back on my SBR and suppressor.
Nice.
FYI, took 7 months, 4 days for the SBR, and the suppressor came in following week.
Nice. So he has that 7 months. What kind of SBR and suppressor did you get? Leave a comment. Do you guys hear freedom? I hear freedom.
And then we got Ghost 218. What is your opinion on the government saying that aliens are real?
Who is Ghost 218?
I don't know, but he left a bunch of like spam comments.
I wonder who Ghost 218 is. Ghost 218 might be someone I know. I don't know if aliens are real. I guess we'll have to find out. I would like to make an informed opinion. But here's the other thing, and not to like get all philosophical, but let's be real, dudes. At night, and you look up and you see all those stars, okay? And I don't know if some of them are planets or not. Like, I don't know. But does anyone truly believe that when they look up and they see all those stars, and if some of those are planets, that there's not somebody on that planet looking back at our star wondering, I wonder if there's anybody out there? There's got to be, right? Like, are we really the only planet in all of that that has life? Now, I'm not saying that there's other humans or whatever. Who knows? I mean, but I don't know. Kind of makes me think. Maybe we should watch Starship Troopers Ghost 218. That might be a little young for that. All right, what other... did Ghost 218 leave any comments? Ghost 218, are you actually 07?
Yeah, he said that in the comments like 10 times.
So I might know who... You know who Ghost 218 is. He may have called earlier. So...
I think it looks like he also requests to buy an in-app purchase.
Ghost 218 requested an in-app purchase. We'll have to put that on hold. All right, what else we got?
Scott Hughes, Super Chat, $5.
Thanks, Scott. I love the super chats. Thank you very much, guys. That's like a tip. They give me money, which is awesome, right?
What recommendations for a 5.56 round to stack deep that's cheap enough for plinking range use but gets the job done if needed in other conditions?
Well, you know, our friends at Global Ordnance carry all sorts of 223 ammo, and if you use my code, you get free shipping on orders over 200. But he gets free shipping. You get free shipping. Sir, do you need free shipping? Use my code. Yeah, he needs free shipping. Everyone's going to get free shipping. I feel like Oprah. You get free shipping. You get free shipping. Hawaiian Shirt Day. You get free shipping. It's Hawaiian Shirt Day here, by the way, which I didn't know that. I would have bought a Hawaiian shirt. Okay, real question, though. Obviously, anything FMJ, like 55 grain, XM193, that's going to be able to be cheap, stack it deep, whatever. But XM193, 55 grain, is actually a pretty effective round. If you have a little bit more money, you can look at some of the heavier stuff. But it's just as far as bang for your buck, cheap, effective, whatever. If I had to buy cheap, stack deep, I'm buying XM193. And I'm buying it from Global Ordnance, using my code to get free shipping. Sorry, shameless plug, but in all reality, they take such good care of me. They'll take good care of you. I have nothing but good things to say. And that's why I partnered with them, right? Like, I've had other opportunities, but wasn't quite the right fit. So, yeah. And Kat, if you're watching, which I don't know if she is or not, she's been amazing to work with as well. So good people over at Global. Yeah. What else we got, sir? We're coming up on the hour, right? Almost 1 o'clock. From Bob.
Looking to become a firearms instructor?
Yeah. Think of a different career, Bob.
At my agency new role for me. Any advice on how to get into that tips or tricks you learned? Decent
Sized agency, but small enough where we all know each other. So gaining respect at the range is something I need to do. Some other cadre has been welcoming and encouraging. Others are phasing out against red dots and dated.
Got it. So Bob, who was it? Oh, yeah. This was
Bob.
the email. So Bob emailed me, and he didn't want his real name to be on there in case some of his partners would see that. Now, here's the thing. First off, Bob, I do appreciate, I'm flattered that you think I'm cool enough that other people would watch this. But I think we have, 2 people watching? I don't even know. It says it up top
30.
somewhere. 30? Well, dirty 30. All right. Yeah, we got a live studio audience as well. That guy's watching. But anyways, so here's what the best advice. And this maybe kind of goes back to Kevin's question about that. Number one, I would say this. Anytime that you are having the opportunity to influence others, because that's really what we're trying to do with training. We're trying to influence people, right? He's got me on the mic there, yeah. Be passionate and be sincere. If you don't show up with your A game, people are going to pick up on that. Okay, so like every class I go to, and sometimes when I go to a class, I'm jet lagged, I'm traveling or whatever, but I try not to let that affect class. And one of the best comments I got from a student, and I really, this was like truly take it to heart, some feedback, was how he judges an instructor is how enthusiastic and how much passion that instructor has at hour 1, day 1, and how much passion and enthusiasm they have at day 3, last hour. And do you see a steady decline? Do you see the same? And how he judges an instructor is that. And he goes, man, and you were just as enthusiastic on day 1, hour 1, as you are right now giving us our certificates. And that is a really, good sign or whatever. And that made me really take that to heart of like how I act, because there have been classes where I'm sure I've deteriorated and I've faded down. And I've been to classes that start out really good, and then you can tell the instructor is just dragging, like, all right, guys, let's get this done. Let's push through and wrap this up. And they're kind of already checked out, right? And I've had other instructors who are like, all right, 3 o'clock, 300 rounds, now it's time to go. And it's tough. So my thing is be passionate, be sincere, have a plan, and just try to transfer the knowledge that you have. Try to ask them like what's important. Try to gauge what the goal is. Don't just go there with a random plan like, all right, guys, we're going to put holes in paper. But try to actually build people. Try to actually make them better and try to lead by example. And here's the other thing I'll tell you is I've been to instructor schools where the old school dated instructor, which sounds like maybe some of the old people that are hopefully phasing out, said, yeah, I don't do demos. I don't recommend you guys do demos. And if you do one demo and you mess up, you've lost all your credibility. So don't do demos. Well, I do demos. Okay, I want people to see that what I'm demoing is realistic and what, lead by example. And have I missed in front of a class at a demo? Absolutely. And I'll tell like, hey, I missed, and here's why. This is the diagnostics that I did. I own that miss, and here's what I'm going to do right to fix it because I want to learn from that miss. And then I redo the drill and hopefully have a good demo, right? So you're human. You're not always going to be perfect. And I've been with other instructors who have shanked demos, and then they call through it and they walk through it. So be passionate, be sincere, be curious, okay? Kind of like Ted Lasso said, be curious, because it's okay when you go to a class and you look at a drill, like, why are they doing that? What's the point of it? What am I gaining from it? Be curious, and it's okay to be critical and realize that, you know what, that's a little gimmicky. It doesn't really work for us. Or that's competition-based, and there are certain things that you're going to do on the competition bay that you're never going to do on the street and vice versa. So it's okay to know what the role is and know what the lane is and kind of go from there. So that's a really great question. Maybe that, like I said, I've joked about making a separate podcast on like instructor craft, which is my term for trying to be the best instructor you can be. And maybe that's something where we can interview other instructors and kind of go from there. That'd be kind of cool. So anyways, was that our last email question, I think?
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other comments?
Yeah, we got Jay Rooney. My chief and I were just discussing aliens at work yesterday, and the squad room talks are the best.
Yeah. LOL.
And then we got Rick Tillery. Hey, yo, from OKC.
Hey, you're from OKC. That's not that far from Wichita, Kansas, which is where TriggerCon is going to be September 22nd through the 24th. See it, then shoot it. Come to Wichita. TriggerCon. Awesome show. Cody, are you coming to TriggerCon? Absolutely. Sir, are you coming to TriggerCon? Yeah. He's coming. You coming to TriggerCon? Hawaiian shirt, are you coming to TriggerCon? Everybody's coming to TriggerCon. You need to come to TriggerCon too. Shameless plug.
And then we got D-Grawl. Love my platypus. Been using it at IDPA from inside the waistband. Great trigger. Last IDPA, I used both SIG and Winchester defensive ammo with no issues.
Nice. You've told me that you have had a platypus before, I think. And see, in your positive range report. Now, DeGraw, maybe you can comment. Am I off basis, or maybe it was just show guns? But when you legit, when you picked up that gun, and they retail for a really good price point, fit, finish, lockup, overall, like just a first impression, were you not impressed? Like I picked that platypus up, and I was really impressed. I thought they were packing above their price point. Like I thought they put together a really nice gun. Now, obviously, proof is in the pudding. I'll shoot it, make sure it runs, trigger, all that stuff. But lockup, everything felt really good for a production gun that takes Glock mags. So that's my first question for you, if you can comment. Next question, have you noticed any magazines getting chewed up with that metal mag catch? That's the only other thing that I'm kind of curious about is how is it going to be treating polymer magazines? Because generally it's polymer mag catch, polymer mags, metal catch, metal mags, but I'd be curious with your thoughts. So if he comments back, I would love his feedback. So
what? Alex here has a good question.
All right, good question. Talix?
I'm having trouble figuring out where to start with suppressors. I don't understand the processes and the differences between going with, say, Silence Shop and using their kiosk versus other companies.
Cool. So in order to buy a suppressor, despite what the left agenda says, you have to go through a pretty lengthy process. You have to go to a dealer, and then once you buy it, you have to then apply for a transfer to get approved is basically the best way to look at it. They call it a tax stamp. You fill out a form with the kiosk, you submit your photos, your fingerprints, it goes to the federal government, they do a background check on, you pay your $200 tax. Once they give you that stamp of approval, then that gets sent back to the dealer, and the dealer says, yes, the ATF has approved you, they've taken your $200, and you can leave with this suppressor. Silencer kiosks, it's generally really good. Like they streamline it, they do the fingerprints, they do the photos. It's a no fuss, no muss way. In fact, don't we have one here? Yeah, we have one here. It really works out well. I would just personally do that. And then what's nice is that you can track the process along the way. Now, as far as which suppressor to get, here's the thing I'll warn you, okay? Suppressors are like holsters. You're not going to end up with just one. And by the time you get your first suppressor, you're gonna be like, oh, this is cool. Like once you've accepted, like, you know what, I'm on the list, I'm in the system, then it's like whatever. Now I don't even know how many suppressors I have. I just they accumulate and they multiply. But in my opinion, the best suppressor for everybody to get, like your first one that's actually going to make you the most enjoyable with it, is a rimfire suppressor. Those will actually make a rimfire gun quiet to where you're just like, oh, this is awesome. And they're relatively inexpensive, $400 or $500. Now, when you add a suppressor to a 223, it just takes the bite off, but man, there's still bite. You know, like it's still loud. It could still hurt depending on how short your barrel and ammo and indoors without ear pro, but it just takes the edge off. You know, like they'll say it drops it down to hearing safe, but again, depending on ammo, indoors, barrel length, all that stuff, it's still loud. Precision rifle cans are cool. In my opinion, the cans that I use the least are my pistol cans. Like by the time you add the suppressor on the pistol and you have to deal with the holster and all that, like I just shoot pistol cans the least, and I only own a couple. But like PCC cans, like a 3-lug can on like a 9 or anything like that, those are fun too. And then you can get like subsonic rounds, which I have some Sterling steel case subsonic that I got from Global that I have for some upcoming PCC videos, and those are pretty cool too. So rimfire can, maybe a 9mm carbine can, a rifle can, precision rifle can, and just the ones for me that I use the least are my pistol cans. So that's just kind of my thoughts. So what else we got, Thomas?
Scott Hughes says, just so it can be said in every video, tater tot hot dish is the best, especially if you use pepper jack cheese.
Right on. Hey, who said that?
Scott Hughes.
Okay, Scott, have you tried my other hack? Because I know we've talked about tater tot hot dish before. Now, for those of you watching in every other state other than Minnesota, you call it casserole. However, in Minnesota, we call it hot dish. And in Minnesota, we usually call it hot dish with the little accent here. Cream of bacon soup. You probably use cream of mushroom soup, right? Or maybe cream of chicken. Cream of bacon soup. Yes, it is a real thing. You might have to order it, or you might have to go to that one weird grocery store. But cream of bacon soup, legit. Bacon bits to your hot dish, legit. Legit.
Chris says, hello from South Florida.
South Florida. We had Texas, South Florida. That's awesome. We got some good mileage in. I appreciate it.
What about a really good mac and cheese, Scott?
Ooh, I love mac and cheese. Have you ever smoked mac and cheese? Like I even go to Costco and get the pre-made mac and cheese, like the deli stuff, and I'll throw that in the smoker. And that's really good too. But I haven't done homemade mac and cheese in a long time. I probably should. I need to find a recipe. So.
And then Jason Barefoot said, to answer your question, it was a Daniel Defense DDM 4B7S and a Surefire RCT.
Dude, nice stuff. Nicely done. That's your first SBR and your first can? I'd say you did well, my friend. Those are nice, hard use items. Looking good.
Rainier Arms with a $10 super chat.
Tangan Arms. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
FPD Office Jake Wallen EOW
7. I didn't see what was that last comment? Someone end to watch?
Says RIP. I think someone passed away maybe.
Oh, so it's kind of in memory of Officer Jake. Oh yeah, from Fargo. Fargo. Yeah, that was a sad deal. That was definitely a sad deal. And his funeral was actually in a town really near me because that's where he had some family and stuff. So very sad deal. So yeah, in memory of him, man. Cheers to Officer Wallin, man. Rest in peace.
E-Girl said, very impressed. I've had a lot of people want to handle it at IDPA. No issues with mags.
Good deal. And that's on that Platypus, which is, again, the 1911 that takes Glock mags. So, yeah. We're coming up on the hour here, dudes. I appreciate you spending your lunch with me. We're coming up on 1 o'clock, and if it's starting to trickle down, we can probably wrap up. We got through all of our email questions, and then we'll have to pick a random comment here to give a prize from Global. But if you guys still have a couple comments, we got a little bit of time left.
Yeah, Scott Hughes, whatever happened to 458 SOCOM? It was on the short list around 7 years ago, and then just vanished.
Yeah, some of those rounds, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to get on some of the new rounds. Like, look at what happened to 224 Valkyrie as well. Like, that was supposed to be the cool short, AR round. And then we had, 6 ARC now, or like the SOCOM, or like 8.6, but like, so I like to give these rounds a little bit of time to see if they catch on. Like 300 Blackout obviously caught on, and that's here, and that's a cool round. 8.6 I think is gonna catch on, right? But some of those other rounds, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think if you come out with a new round and you don't get big factory support from like Federal, from Hornady, and then from some of the import brands or whatever. I just don't think the round has as much. Now, precision rifle, Wildcats, that's a whole different deal. But I'm talking for like mainstream adoption. I don't know. I kind of want to get an 8.6, but I'll probably get one. But I want to get a 6 arc more. I want to get a 6 arc more. What do you want to get? You want to get a 6 arc? Yeah, you should. Were we caught up? Are we caught up on comments? Cody, any questions for the show before we wrap it up?
Any questions?
Yeah.
Are there going to be additional swag? Everyone loves swag.
Everybody loves swag. I'm going to have some limited edition swag at TriggerCon. Limited edition.
Over 90 vendors. I'm super stoked, super excited.
He's super excited. I don't know if we can hear him because of the microphone, but over 90, close to 100, and they're good vendors too. Like, we're not talking like Bob and Tom's beef jerky or like Billy Bob's folding knives. We're talking legit vendors from all the people that you know and love. So TriggerCon, you got to be there. Wichita, Kansas. Is that how you pronounce it? Wichita? No, Wichita. I know. If you're watching, you know who you are, Wichita. But I don't know if they are.
What about 350 Legends? Here to stay?
I don't know. What do you think? 350 Legend here to stay? I don't know. Some of these weird cartridges.
It's not really a weird cartridge. It's actually pretty decent. The 350 Legend as well as the 450 Bushmaster.
Yeah.
450 Bushmaster got its start on an AR platform.
Yeah. We got Cole off camera here, but
so
yeah,
I think they definitely have a place. I think they really going to take and find a decent place in more than I would say in the scout rifle platforms.
Scout rifle would be kind of cool.
Scout rifle platforms,
Yep.
the 350 and the 350 Legend and 450 Bushmaster, I think would offer a lot of capability and in a very light platform rifle that's
short.
That's absolutely worth its weight and gives a lot of potential to what's needed.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Hopefully you guys can hear it all right. We probably should have thought about turning that mic off when we're not using it. I don't know if it's picking up a lot of ambient noise, but hey, have you guys complained about the audio? Have we gotten? Okay, I'm using the wireless mic kit, so it's good there. But yeah, like I was talking about with like 458 SOCOM, it's all about getting big factory support when it comes to ammo. So if you can get the big heavy hitters to support that round, then obviously it's going to stay. So Federal, Hornady, Black Hills, SIG, even they're making a lot of ammo on their own, and then obviously you have the imports and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that covers it. What else? Got any other comments, or are we wrapping up?
Zimmerman said, "Thank you, love the live."
Sean Zimmerman, love the live. Well, Sean Zimmerman, I love that you love it, and I love that you're watching live. I appreciate it. Like honestly, dudes, doing these live streams is one of my favorite things because we get to interact, we get to answer your questions. I love giving away stuff, but plus, it's just cool because we get to hang out, and then I publish it. I don't have to edit it, which is like selfishly why I like it, because then I just hit one button. And Thomas knows because he's a video editor. You know, like it's nice not to have to edit and do everything else. And it's kind of cool to be here at Rainier Arms Firearms Academy because the couch is way more comfortable than my workbench. We've had kind of some people coming and going. It kind of just gives a different element. So I love hanging out here. And if you guys are in Wichita, you got to stop by. Like, I can't give a specific promo to the webpage because that violates policy. So, but Google Rainier Arms Firearms Academy in Wichita. It's a great place. Like, awesome facility. They have all sorts of cool stuff. Live bays, stuff you can rent, stuff you can demo. And by the way, every Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day, which I didn't know about. But it's legit Hawaiian Shirt Day. Like, literally from Office Space. So, yeah.
Bob said, need military contacts to make new cartridge last.
Yeah, military contracts always help. I'm curious, and for those of you that don't know, there are some military units that are using 300 blackout, and I'm really curious to see how 8.6 comes along as well, because I think there's some potential there, right? And now that there is a SAMI spec for 8.6, I think that is going to stick around, and that's something that I want to try. Thank you, Cole. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. What else we got?
Philip, Lim, where are we going to for lunch?
That's a good question. We'll have to figure that out.
And then Tangan Arms again. Who is making the SIG optics? SIG isn't doing it themselves. I'm sure they are just slapping their name on them, right?
Not necessarily.
The same one.
Oh, same one? Okay.
Okay. So we all know some of SIG stuff looks similar to other stuff. and it wasn't imported or whatever. But some of their new stuff is their design, and SIG Optics has actually hired a lot of engineers from another company in the Northwest. And some of their stuff, their magnified optics, some of their new pistol optics and everything is specific SIG engineered and SIG designed stuff. Now, as far as where they're manufacturing it, I can't, I know a lot of things about the industry and some of which I really can't disclose versus various NDAs and stuff like that. But a lot of companies, a lot of optic companies, all of their scopes are made by a manufacturer in Japan. And it's no internet secret, okay? If you Google Light Optical Works, or LOW, they make scopes for a lot of companies. There are other companies like Light Optical Works that manufacture an OEM, red dots, magnified optics, scopes, all that stuff, and they do that for various companies. So some of these companies that are out there, they don't have like a glass shop and a machine shop and whatever. They contract with these companies that make optical devices. And they make optical devices not just for the shooting world, but they also make it for binoculars, spotting scopes, telescopes, microscopes, anything with glass in it, right? That's what they do really, really well. But these companies will come up with their own recipe that is specific to them. So where every optic is getting made, it kind of depends on the product line. Some of it's made in China, some of it's made in the Philippines, some of it's made in Japan, some of it's made in Vietnam. There's different companies out there. There's even some German and Switzerland stuff for some brands. Some of the big brands, like Zeiss, for example, Zeiss does a lot of stuff in-house, okay? But some of the other big popular brands, like Vortex, Night Force, or whatever, they contract with some of these manufacturers to make their optics for them, and that's no secret now. As far as SIG specifically, I don't know where some of their stuff is made, but the new SIG stuff is impressing me more and more, and it is made to their spec by their contracted manufacturers, and that's a common practice in a lot of companies. Now, you look at a different company like Aimpoint. Aimpoint makes their own stuff because they make just Aimpoint, but they still get components and things from other companies. But that's just kind of how the industry works. So just because SIG necessarily might not be making stuff, don't poo-poo on them, because there's a lot of other companies that don't, that are very respected products. So hopefully that helps. That's a little bit of insider, a little bit of industry knowledge and whatever. And again, nothing like that is super secret, but there's other stuff I have to be a little cautious because I don't want to make sure I violate some NDAs and stuff. Like, for example, with the Trijicon RMR HD, I was under an NDA that I couldn't talk about it until August 1st, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of happens in the industry. What else we got?
The girl said SIG does optics out in Oregon. They have their own factory.
Yeah, so some of their high-end stuff they're probably doing in their own. I know some of their entry-level was outsourced, but yeah, some of their made in America. But like I said, SIG optics lately have really been impressing me. Like that new Romeo 9, the new X stuff, some of their magnified stuff. Like, I need to pick up a 1:6, actually, one of their mill contract scopes to throw on my spear. But some of the SIG stuff is just, they've really come a long way. Really come a long way. I got a mad respect for them.
Giveaway time yet?
Yeah, let's do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. So here's how the giveaway is going to work. We're going to go ahead and throw the rules up on the screen. Give me a thumbs up when the rules are on the screen. All right. So the rules. Please review the rules. Don't be greedy. If you have a prize, please claim it. Email me. Make sure you're watching. All that stuff. We are going to go ahead and pick a random comment or email. In just a moment, we'll throw that random comment or email on the screen. Then you'll email us, and then we'll get you your prize. Thomas, are we ready to pick our random comment?
Yep.
Yeah, let him pick it.
Yeah.
All right. Say stop.
Yeah, just say stop.
Stop. All right. What's the comment? Who's winning? Scott. Scott. Which one?
Scott Hughes.
Scott Hughes is the winner. What comment won?
Good afternoon.
That's it? Good afternoon won? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for winning, Scott. We're going to go ahead and get in touch. Send us an email to the email address shown below. That is theqa@gunsandtactics.com. Let me know when it's up. We're perfect. No? Oh, yep. There it is. All right. Go ahead and send us an email to the email address shown below. That is theqa@gunsandtactics.com. Scott, we can go ahead and claim your prize. We'll put you in touch with Global. They'll send you a care package of Freedom Pills or Freedom Cs. Now, here's the other cool thing, guys. If you can't make the live stream, send your email or send your question to that email. We'll get it on the show, and we'll enter you for the prize. And you can sign up for our newsletter, all that cool stuff. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Huge, again, shout out to TriggerCon. That is September 22nd through the 24th in Wichita, Kansas. I'm going to be there. A lot of other creators are going to be there. I would love for you to join. We'll have a link in the description. Get your tickets. And in fact, if you guys, the live viewers, are watching and you guys need some tickets or something, send an email. I'll see what I can do to help you out. Maybe we'll give away some tickets, stuff like that. If you're going to come, let me know if I can help you out. I'd love to see you at the show. And again, huge thanks to Global Ordnance for their support. We couldn't do it without their support of our prize. So, Thomas, I think that's going to do it for us, right? No more questions, comments, cares, concerns? All right. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great day.